21 of 260 of potentially the greatest builds in the world right now. The judges considered me to be in the top 21. And now I'm about to go on over here and potentially be considered top 10. My dude, are you serious? Are you serious? It's crazy to me.
We have Big Mike from...
Crazy to me, but I mean, I got such good support, right? Frank came in. I talked to him. I was like, "Yo, I'm building this. Do you want to be a part of it? How do you want to be a part of it? What can we talk about?" And he said, "Hey, let's do it." So I used Downstar hardware on the entire car, subframe, knuckles, steering rack, engine bay. I mean, it doesn't matter. The whole car, from top to bottom, was disassembled and reassembled using Downstar hardware. The suspension components were powder coated, taken apart, painted, cleaned, tumbled, zinced, media blasted. It's just nuts, man. It's nuts that I have support like that, and I'm just blessed to be here. Sema's the pinnacle, you know. Privateer car builder at Sema with a car on display. Enough. That in and of itself is enough. But this competition, it's surreal, man. It's surreal, and I do this for all of y'all. I'm serious. Everybody who grew up loving a Honda or whatever car, and we just try to learn how to work on them or whatever, and you can do it. If I can do it, anyone can do it, because I'm just me. I never kissed anybody's ass. I just built a car, and I'm blessed that people like what I built. And here we are, man. It's all crazy. I'm talking all fast. This is crazy. It's crazy. I appreciate all of you guys that are watching this. I mean, for real, for real. I just hope you guys can maybe come to Sema. You know a company, you know a media company, you know a shop that you can work with, get a pass, come over here, see the industry from this side. This is the pinnacle, this is the top. These are the companies and the associations that make our industry on the highest level. And for me to be here with them is crazy. So if you can ever get a pass to Sema, get over here. It's wild. You'll experience basically automotive Disney World. Not Disneyland, Disney World. But we got to go outside to the main stage for this top 10 announcement. Who knows what's gonna happen? I have no idea. I made top 21. That's already crazy, but let's see what happens. I debuted the car here in the Torco booth at Central Hall. Hasn't been seen before. There was a couple things that got out online. That's it though. This is my debut, and look at what's happening with this debut. It's crazy. You know what, man? Like I said, just being there, I didn't know how this would even go. I might not even be on this list. It doesn't matter, man. I had fun building it. It was brutal, like physically brutal, but I had fun and I'd do it again. So if I go somewhere with this, in this realm or not, doesn't even matter, man. I had fun. If you don't have fun, backpedal, reassess what you're doing, because it's about fun. You gotta have fun. Thanks for being a part of it.
Of course.
Seriously.
Day 2 here at SEMA 2016. This is the 3rd year that we've been doing Battle of the Builders. And the bar just keeps getting raised every single year.
First finalist in the 2016 Battle of the Builders.
First up, we have Big Mike from... Congrats, Big Mike. This is no surprise. I saw this car when they were setting it up. Absolutely gorgeous.
What's up, everybody? Big Mike here. I am in the Torco USA booth. This is the big time, man. I'm here at Sema. I'm having a great time. My build is over here in the booth, and I feel honored to have all of you watching this. You know what I'm saying? So what I have here in the booth is my '92 Honda Prelude. For some of you guys that have followed me over the years, I appreciate that. Honda Tuning Magazine when it was like a red wine color. About 4 years later, I did the car a mint green color, ITB, rye wire harness, a lot of customization there. But I decided to take this car to the next level. It's made all of my previous builds, honestly, very elementary because this car was taken apart entirely. No glass, no suspension, no subframes. Every single bolt, nut, washer on the entire car, anywhere on the car, is brand new. So I hollered at Frank from Downstar and I was like, yo, I'm trying to redo this whole car. And I don't mean just the engine bay. You know, guys are doing the headlights and the fenders and maybe like a VTEC solenoid cam setup. I was like, I'm talking about everything. Trans, motor mounts, subframes, and he was like, let's do it. So that's what you see here. It's a custom turbo kit. I had a setup made, bottom mount V-band manifold, custom intake manifold. It has internal velocity stacks, so the air flows in and funnels in. Converted to drive-by-wire. I hit up Rywire and I said, hey Ryan, let's do this together, you know, and he said, okay, I'm in. So a lot of customization. It's just the way I do things. I don't want a shelf item. So I contacted a couple fab guys I know and I said, this is the idea, can you make it? They said, sure. And the colors that you see is all a combination of ideas that I've had. Satin black powder coat, gold zinc, raw aluminum, lathe metal, raw stainless steel, and things like that. So I feel like it's a work of art, and not only can it function, it can look good while doing that. So everything that you see here is functioning. The car drove, I fired it up, drove it into the convention center. I didn't push it. On this side, for example, we made a custom Big Mike Edition Rywire cam trigger kit. So there's a couple companies that make a cam trigger, and what they do is they read north and south off of the cam. Well, what we did was we did the same type of setup, but to make it the most accurate as possible, we did cam and crank. So we used the OEM sensor at the bottom, so you have cam and crank reading to get the different readings to make it as accurate as possible. That's one thing that's just entirely one-off. Made a CNC piece to hold the sensor in place, etc. Even the dipstick here right next to it. I had a friend, Shay Speck. He hand lathes and makes these types of items. So I said, I want a crown piece, and so can you make me a one-off dipstick? And so he did that. So these motor mounts, for example, they're innovative mounts, and I did a wrinkle black, but if you look at the insert, even the bushing is gray to match the car. So I didn't leave any detail untouched, not one. So you've got gray, satin black, all the Downstar hardware, wrinkle black, raw metal. I even planned it out so that these caps of the OEM cylinders all match. This particular bar, ASC Speed Metal, I contacted my friend over there and I said, I want you to do it, but I don't want to powder coat it. I want to lock in the heat marks because it's art to me. So he made the mock-up, water jet the ends, welded it all together, and we locked in the stainless steel finish rather than powder coating it black like most people thought I was going to do, because it's right next to a black cowl. I got a black piece there, but for me it was a work of art, so I locked in the heat marks. The valve cover is completely chopped and contoured. It was cut down, and this 45-degree facet in the front was made. The angle of the motor is very accented, leaned back, but it's the same as stock because the H22 valve cover goes up. A lot of intake manifolds for H's, they curve up. This one is straight runners, so it really makes the motor lean back, which a lot of people think I've done something custom with mounts, and I didn't. It's the same geometry. So my boy Chris at Wisecraft Fab, he made my swirl pot and surge tank setup. I kind of just told him the idea of what I wanted and let him run with it. He's made many different ones, and I kind of just described it and let him do it. A lot of people don't know that Rywire doesn't just wire. If you didn't know about his Integra last year, you wouldn't know, but all the hardline work, I told him how I kind of had an idea of how I wanted it to run, and Ryan actually did it. So this dash 4, it was bent right here. It cuts across for the EMAP, and I actually really enjoy how we got the two joints to be right here. So when you guys are bending dash 4 hardline, it's no joke. Dash 3 is a little bit easier, dash 4 isn't. But to get this 45 and this 90 to be at the same plane was a very difficult thing to do. And we were able to do it. And we got it in one shot versus having to waste line. So there's just a variety of things. Guys take their batteries out of the engine bay and their oil filter somewhere else. I put it back in. I felt like the blue matched and offset all of the machine. There are gray parts. And there's just a lot of time to make it aesthetically pleasing in addition to being functional. I wanted a certain shape for the car, and I love the way the Prelude body lines are. This whole fender right here is handmade from clay into fiberglass. But this shape right here for Prelude, guys, they can't tell that it's not stock because I kept all of the OEM shape, but it's about 35 mil wider. So you can see how much wider it is with the tire. It's a Falcon Azeni 615K. It's a 275 on a 17 9.5 22 Volk CE28N, which is one of my favorite wheels of all time. So when you realize the tire and wheel package, you realize that it's widened, but you cannot tell, and that was the idea. You can only tell when you get to the rear of the fender, where we designed it to go in and release the high pressure zone from all of the buildup there. So the front bumper is a combination of an OEM bumper and a June lip that I molded together and contoured differently that fits the wide body. So once again, you have this fender line and it segues here and then fades away. That's all custom. The June lip is a half bumper lip that mounts here. I smoothed it out and had the highlight line go like this. If you follow me over here, this is an OEM Honda nostril, as I call it, but I had them opened up. So this shaping is all very OEM. So I had this duct made that allows ram air straight to my oil cooler, but it was shaped in the shape of the way Honda did it. So it's not standing out on its own. It looks very normal because the fourth dimensional shaping of it all is to fit Honda. So those are the ways we did things with the car. When I design something, it isn't like, let's just cut a hole in the bumper so air goes to the oil cooler. It's like, let's shape it to go into the car. So the interior, it's all suede. I wanted a little bit of luxury. I wanted to feel nice when I get in it. So it's suede, and I did a perforated suede on the insert to break it up. I kept this black to break up the monotony of the suede, but you'll see that I did black here, I did black here, and I kind of accented, even this trim piece right here is a gloss black to help break up the suede. The perforated suede that I used on the door, I also used here on the lumbar cushion of the seats to add continuity. I redid the full Sparco Evo seat. I used some OEM material they have here and here, but what I did was I did it black on black on black, Sparco here on the back, just the way Sparco did it, but I did it on black. And here, Sparco again, but I did it in black. And then I color matched the backs of the seat shells to match the whole car. So a lot of other things that people don't realize happen with this car is this is an OEM Prelude dash, audio console, center console, steering column cover, but everything has been contoured to my liking. So coin pockets or seams or different things like that were cut and shaved away and wrapped in the suede, so it has a very streamlined, elegant cockpit. It isn't racy per se, but it isn't overly luxurious. It's just streamlined to the point. And the perforated suede, I ended up using a perforated leather, matte leather here on the Sparco Champion wheel to tie it all in. If I did suede here, I looked at it, I mocked up a suede wheel, it was too much. So I did leather, and the red and the blue ties into the outside of the car and the livery to bring the whole thing together. So what I'm trying to say is the whole car, every part of the car was planned together. It was never like, let's do the interior, now let's do the outside. I designed the whole car to have a colorway, to have continuity, and to just really be a fluid build. So what I utilized was a Nuke Performance fuel component. So this is their external surge tank setup. Rather than having the fuel pumps inside, they're outside. So this is the surge tank, Nuke Performance 110 micron filtration. I have an FCS fuel cell underneath the car, an AEM pump, lifts the fuel out, comes up, feeds the surge tank, and outside of the surge tank, it goes to the other AEM pumps that feed the rest of the car. I have a very symmetrical kind of idea of how I design things. So I did it in the center and branched off of it and went forward to like what I call the flying V setup, which is where the bulkheads go to go underneath the car. So the paneling is very hot rod inspired, aluminum bead rolled paneling, but rather than just having it covered, I recontoured the back of the car. The whole back of the car has been reshaped so that it's symmetrical. You have this plane, this up plane. I talked to a fab guy from ASE, my guy Gabe at ASE. I told him the ideas and I said, this is what I want to do. What do you think? And he's like, you know, let me think about it and I'll design something with you and we'll make it happen. And it continues into the back of the car. I didn't just do a couple panels, it's a full rear seat delete. and I incorporated the Canton AccuSump on top of the paneling rather than going below it, because the blue matches the car and once again breaks up the monotony of gray and black. So you have blue, and you have machine billet Downstar hardware, and you have satin black everywhere in key pieces to keep it from being monotonous. Even the Vibrant Performance fittings, I used all Vibrant Performance fittings. If you look at their lines, it has a blue tracer. So you have black, you have machine faces, and you have blue all together so that it doesn't ever get old. It's classy, it's functional, and I think it turned out really well. You know, I had a lot of people that companies that contributed in some way. I know I've been able to make some good relationships over the years, and some of them were like, let's get in on it with you to some degree, somehow. So I mean, the AccuSump, I want to thank Canton for their help. Raise Wheels, I work with them, and I'm able to afford quality, authentic, forged race wheels, you know, to achieve what I need to achieve. WordWorks, my friend Dan from WordWorks, he helped me with all of the mechanical and physical labor. Nuke Performance, Rywire, of course. Ryan's my partner on this build. It wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for him. Torco Oils, that's the booth that we're in. I really appreciate them, and they took their gamble on this car because it could have been walked by. You know, they spent thousands of dollars on square footage to be here at Sema. They needed something that would draw attention, and nobody knew. I didn't know, they didn't know, and that gamble has really paid off. So I also want to thank Vibrant Performance. I work with them very well. The fittings, the lines. I have a quick disconnect on my fuel. I can disconnect while there's pressure in the system. Disconnect. It helps with removing the motor. I'm running an AEM Infinity, so thanks to Lawson and AEM for helping me with that setup. Downstar, Frank, salute my dude. All my vinyl work, the livery, this stuff is not easy to do, to get the proportions and the dimensions right. It takes hours and hours. So Young and the crew at Auto-Tuned, they helped make this setup happen. It's not simple, it's not easy. So the turbo setup is, I'm running a Garrett GTX, and for my wastegate and blow-off valve, it's Turbo Smart, so I appreciate them. Competition clutch twin disc, that's what I'm using to put the power to the ground. I love it. It's not choppy, I can feather it. Exalta, so what you see here, this Nardo gray paint, it's beautiful because of Exalta. So Exalta Refinish, I used their Chromax series of paint. DTM Auto Body in the SGV laid the paint, and we were able to achieve this. And I'm very blessed to have worked with Exalta. They didn't know me, they took a risk on this, and this is what we were able to produce. So shout out to them and DTM for painting the car. And once again, Torco for having me here, Rywire for helping me do the car. I appreciate all of you for watching. Follow me on Instagram if you care about what's going on. Life, I'm a sentimental dude. I put some philosophy on there, my ideas about things, a lot of car stuff. If you want to watch that, it's The Big Mike, at The Big Mike, TheBigMike. I mean, and let's just keep in touch, you know? So thank you, everybody. I appreciate you guys. Blessings.